Rogers back today.
And it's nice? Yes. You know, I told
Ladies and gentlemen and council members, prior to starting tonight, I had something unusual happen to me the other day. We were having a retirement gathering for all the people who had tarried, which if you're familiar with state government, they've done away with. But you could, for 5 years, you could retire, put your retirement into a savings account before you finally had to completely retire. And I've been mayor now 24 years and involved in government for probably 40 years. But this plaque probably means as much to me as any plaque that I've ever gotten from any organization or any group. I want to read it to you. And I'm doing this because it's not only addressed to me, to Mayor Keith Summey, City Council, staff members, and the wonderful employees in the Human Resources Department. Thanks for everything. North Charleston is truly a great place to live, work, and play. I know this to be true because I purchased a home in this great city for over 21 years, employed here for over 25 and a half years, and I love it. Just look at everything being built, the houses, hotels, apartments, senior centers, fire stations, family dollar stores, the close end of the Danny Jones pool. Where can you go and swim year-round? The coming of the new aquatic Olympic-sized pool, that says something about why people wanting to live here in North Charleston. To Mayor Summey and his staff, keep up the good work. May God continue to bless you. And it's from Kenneth H. Holback, a retiring employee. And sometimes you wonder if the labor that we do to try to make us have a better place to live, work, and play is caught on by the folks that actually go out and do the functions every day. This gentleman did, and it made me feel like after 24 years, I know that at least one guy appreciated it. Okay, so I just wanted to do that before we open our meeting. I'll ask you to please rise for the invocation and the pledge. Our Heavenly Father, God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the occasion that we have today to recognize folks that have done outstanding things in our community, showing that our young people and our parents are doing the things they should be doing to make life better for all of us. We thank you for this body of government that serves the people of the city of North Charleston. Help us to always acknowledge that we are here to do things to make life better for everyone. We ask that you bless us in this meeting and bless us in all things that we do and say. In thy name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just call people.
We're going to have a recognition by our Parks Department, Parks and Rec, of Mr. Josiah Jordan James. And I'm going to ask Ed if he'll come forward to make this presentation.
Right, Josiah, would you join me, please? You want to run?
Come on, Shorty.
You want to run that for me? We've got a little video we'd like to show to kind of show Josiah when he started with us years ago. I saw him as a 5-year-old. I want to just run this first. Thank you. Let me, you could cut that for me now.
Yes.
It's gonna, there you go. Let me, you know, my job is I guess I have the best job in the world. I get to watch kids grow up. And I've watched many kids grow up in North Charleston in 30 years. And we get to recognize kids and positive things, and we have so many positive things. And council, each of you have, and Mayor Summey, I could stand here all night and talk about your love for children and the avenues that you've taken since I've been your recreation director. None of this can be done without you. And this support group that's in here tonight, and mom and dad, coaches and players. Josiah come up to me earlier, and the 10U team, when he was 9, I think, boy, did we have a good team. And who would think that today, years later, we'd be back here. This young man made the USA team 18 and under. And how many? 172. How many was it that tried out for this team in Colorado? A lot. He said a lot. And his mother was texting me every day. He's down to 72, Ed. He's at 46. He's at 18. And, boy, I don't know who was happier that night. I cried. My wife come in and said, what in the world's wrong with you? So just leave me alone for a minute. But what an honor and what an opportunity for us to as Mayor Summey put it in the meeting when he spoke to the support group here and his family and all the friends, that our programs work if we have the support. And you are it, and each of you are it. Each one of you there had a role to play. We just kind of laid the balls out there and give these kids opportunities. Josiah's going to be one of the top 10 picks in the country. And Coach, I didn't wear this to represent Portugal tonight. I talked to Frank Martin this afternoon. He's being recruited by Duke, Kansas, South Carolina, Clemson, Councilman Brinson, so you guys got a shot.
No Clemson.
But you know one thing that I've loved about Josiah, and I referee, and I was kidding them in there a while ago, they actually clapped for me. And I said, you need to hold that. You've never done it before. And neither has he. Matter of fact, he'll tell me, Mr. Barber, how did you see that call? But I referee some of his games. But what character and class this young man displays. And it makes me feel real good to know that, yes, our programs do work. And the mentoring and the coaching and the love for children that we portray, it does work. I can't be any more prouder of him than I am tonight, and I have been through his run with Colorado Springs making this team. That's a heck of an honor. It just doesn't happen. I've never had one in all my years, and we try to recognize our kids. You know that we've had some pretty doggone good athletes, but we've had a lot of good children come through, an awful lot. I know, Chris, you're going to get mad at me, but I'm going to do it anyway. Stand up a minute. That's Chris Middleton. Now, he told me, Josiah, he said, don't make it about me, make it about Josiah. We are. But it's mentorship like Chris. Chris is now playing with Milwaukee Bucks. He was an NBA All-Star last year. He's home giving back to children, teaching kids basketball, but life skills. Regardless if he makes it, which I think he will. When I refereed Chris, sorry, Chris, I thought he was going to be a baseball pitcher. I never thought he'd play in the NBA, but tells me how much I know. But I really appreciate what you've done, son, and I sat in your weight room one night watching you work out at Porter, and you thought I was checking emails. I couldn't believe your work ethic. And I tell everybody that story. He didn't just, it's not given, he makes it. He works very hard, and that's what it takes in your life. Whatever you do, just pursue it. And the habits that you learn in basketball are tremendous. And I'm proud of you, son. And this year when I get your game, remember I recognized you tonight. If I miss that call, don't get mad with me.
I got you.
You will. Coach, you want to? Coach John Pierce is a great friend of mine, as many of the folks here are. I am a referee, and I think they respect the fact that what I try to do. I don't get up and down like I used to. JP will tell me. He's the head coach at Portugal, and I promise you, the program is one of the tops in the country. Last year, he had 2 kids sign Division I. Aaron Neesmith went to Vanderbilt, and Jake, Lambert went to Yale, and probably could have went anywhere. Either one of those kids could have went anywhere they wanted, not because of athletics, because of academics. This one included. All right, Coach? Yes.
His mom and his dad and his and I'm so delighted that I had this opportunity to be a part of this celebration for you. Big expectations, guys.
All right, Coach, you can speak, but nothing about my referee.
He's a great ref. He's a great ref.
Oh, yeah, right.
When we get the call. Quick story. I tell little stories every now and then. watching that slide, watching Josiah at a young age, and listening to you talk about the retirement, the Terry plan, I got to tell you this. There was one time Josiah was in the 6th grade and so mad at his dad, he retired from basketball. He just was not going to play any more basketball because his dad made him mad for something, so he's back. And I wonder if he got one of those Terry plans for this guy. Josiah, I can't really say enough. There was some words said in the room right down the hall. Takes a village. His mother repeated those words when she was talking to everybody. And I want to add to that, it takes a great village, because behind me are some great people that Josiah is surrounded by. And along with his character, his work ethic, the way he gets along with people, and the people that have helped raise him, along with mom and dad, brother, coaches, Coach Saunders, really special in Josiah's life. I can say this with all kinds of confidence, Josiah's got a chance. And he's taking advantage of this chance. He's a gold medalist. He's entering in his senior year in high school. He can pretty much pick where he wants to go and play basketball. His head is screwed on straight, and I am absolutely happy about that. And I gotta please thank parents, players. I'm leaving people out. I have to thank all of you. Please give yourself a round of applause. Despite his early retirement at an early age, I think Josiah is headed for some really big things. And with all of this help, I just know Josiah's got more than a chance. So Josiah, keep it going. I'm glad to be your coach. I'm glad to be these guys' coaches up here too. Proud of you. I'm very proud of you.
I'm going to ask Chief Reggie Burgess to come make a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Barfield. Josiah, I don't really know you personally. I've seen you play basketball, and you are awesome. But in law enforcement, we have a brotherhood, and that brotherhood is to serve and protect our community at all times. We have in here today a person who's a fan of yours now. I thought he was a fan of mine, but apparently he's a fan of yours. Freddie Strobel, he's a 50-year U.S. Marshal, and he actually asked me as a law enforcement person to read this to you. It says, Honorable Josiah Jordan James, rising senior at Porter Garden High School in Charleston, South Carolina, quintessential player, Mr. All-American USA, your skills and achievements in God's grace means the endeavors in life is the sky. As known as Triple J, with warm regards, Freddie Strobel, U.S. Marshal, retired for 50 years of law enforcement service. Now that's your new fan right there. I want to give that to you to let you know that I have a yearbook in my office. In the 3 years that I was in high school, and I won a lot of things athletically, but I never, in that yearbook, it didn't say that I was going to be one who was voted most likely to succeed. And I look at it every day, but I realize that the guy over there, Mayor Kisumi, he gave me an opportunity to succeed. Your family and your coaches, they give you an opportunity. From an ex-athlete to you, take that and keep your mind focused and keep God in your life. Amen.
Let's hear from Josiah.
Thank you so much, Lord. Thank you very much.
Let's hear from Josiah. Come on, man. Come on, you're going to be a politician one day. Come on, man.
I'm going to keep it short. I'm just filled with so much joy and thanks. Thankful for all of you up here. Thankful for my supporting group. And thankful to the city of North Charleston. I was born and raised here. I think it's the perfect place for me. I wouldn't have it any other way if I could. And I'm so eternally grateful for all that you've done, Mayor Keith Sumney. And it's times like this when a workout or something might get hard. I'll look back at something like this and I'll use it as motivation, because these people are so awesome, and I want to do everything I can for them. That's all I have to say.
Let me just... Josiah has challenged me to a one-on-one. We're going to wait till he gets his scholarship moving forward because I don't want to hurt him. But I can assure you, each of you will be invited when we do it, but the tickets ain't going to be cheap. God bless you, my son. We're with you.
Thank you.
We're going to take a 3-minute break. Those people that are here with Josiah and you don't want to sit here for the next hour, we're going to give you an opportunity to resume the party down the hall.
Well, that's as sweet as can be. Excuse me.
It was great. Yes, ma'am.
Which one is it? Special. I tell you.
Oh, yes.
This is really interesting.
That's a really good occasion. I think in a game of one-on-one, you and I could come and just stay on the bench because it wouldn't matter anyway. We wouldn't even slow it down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to
That was so beautiful.
go ahead and get started with the rest of our agenda. We appreciate you letting us take the time for the family and friends to exit. He is an outstanding young man, and, you know, his head is on right. I mean, it is where it's supposed to be, and that's because of the leadership that he's had in his life from his mom and dad and from the community. And so we appreciate everyone that's had an opportunity to be a part of that young man's life. Madam Clerk, please continue.
Well, there's a presentation to Police Lieutenant Rick Keyes from the Fraternal Order of Police. I'm not quite sure if everybody's in place. Oh, yes.
Come on.
It's still in the hallway.
Rick, come on down, son.
My name is John Blackman. I'm the president of the Fraternal Order of Police. Every year, our organization recognizes the courage and bravery of law enforcement officers throughout the Tri-County. This year, when we went through all of our nominations, one name kept coming up over and over again by multiple nominations, and that was Lieutenant Rick Keys. We received nominations from coworkers, from citizens, from supervisors, and we're like, wait a minute. We like Rick. We know this guy. He's been around for a while. But when we kept reading these things, we learned a little bit about Rick. And we learned about his courage, his fortitude, and his love for the job. One of the first things we read was an incident involving Rick where he had to confront an armed felon, a man who was determined to take something from a business in the city of North Charleston at any cost. Rick, without regard for his own safety, gave chase to try to apprehend this felon. With that, we determined that this definitely met the criteria for our award of valor. He put his own life at risk for this community. So the Fraternal Order of Police is proud to present Lieutenant Richard Keys of the North Charleston Police Department with this award of valor. We weren't done at that point because we still had all these other nominations that came in, talking about the greatness of Rick Keys and all the foundations that he laid at this department. As we started reading through all these things, we knew immediately that Rick Keys was also to be recognized as the Tri-County Law Enforcement Officer of the Year. Rick's work ethic, his determination, and the way he handles himself with the community, with other officers, with his superiors, it made it a no-brainer. We knew he was the right choice. So today we were able to present Lieutenant Richard Keys with the Tri-County Law Enforcement Officer of the Year Award. Congratulations, Rick. The city of North Charleston should revel in the know that this man is protecting y'all streets. We're very fortunate that he's a representation of the law enforcement that we represent, and we're proud of him and all of his accomplishments. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate y'all taking the time. Thank you,
Rick. We want a few words from you. We don't want you to sing.
Yes, sir.
All right.
First of all, I'm very humbled to receive this out of all the officers that I work with on a daily basis. And I want to receive all this on their behalf too, because without them, I couldn't do my job either. But I've been with North Charleston 30 years. I can't imagine working anywhere else. The council who stands behind our law enforcement means so much to us on the street. And our command staff, and the chief, the officers care about everybody in the city. I see it from a street level. I've been a police officer 33 years, and I love serving. Everybody says, when are you going to retire? God will let me know when that day is. But God has blessed me. My mom and dad raised me to respect others, and I've carried that with me through my entire career. And as a police officer, when I see a small child looking at me, I make a point to go over and shake their hand. Because at age 6, me and my dad were standing at a festival, and this police car pulled up across the street, Tennessee State Trooper, and I'm staring at it. He gets out of his car. I guess he saw me staring. I'm 6 years old. He puts his hat on. He comes across the street, and he shook my hand. His name was Roger Nave. I'll never forget it. And that meant so much to me that he did that. And I try to do that when I see small kids too. But we have a great police department, thanks to you all, our command staff, and I really appreciate it. And I still love working for the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
And next we have a presentation to Police Chief Reggie Burgess from Mr. Steve Wickman.
It's not my phone call.
Apologize.
Good evening, Mayor Sumney, council members, North Charleston folks. I am with the ESGR, and as a representative of the ESGR, I kind of need to set the stage just a little bit to tell you what's getting ready to happen and what it's all about. ESGR is the employer support of the Guard and Reserve, and we're a Department of Defense volunteer organization. One of our goals is to support America's employers, that's supervisors, who share their employees with the Department of Defense to ensure national security. ESGR highly recommends that Guard and Reserve employees give special recognition to their employers, the supervisors, for their patriotic and unselfish support of military service. Now you see we got a rather large crowd here, but what I wanted to do here is also acknowledge, first of all, that we do have, besides the men and women in uniform who are making all of this possible, those volunteers from Area 1. So I would like to introduce to you Dick Fuller, Bob King, also known as Councilman King, Angie Gibbs, and we do have, okay, we have another one as well, Kristen Smith, and myself, Steve Wickman, as part of the volunteer organization. Now, we get to the real honored part, and that is we're here to give that special recognition that we're talking about to Chief of the Police, Reggie Burris. All right? And that's the person being honored this evening with an ESGR Patriot Award. Now, this is being done in recognition of his outstanding support of an employee here we know as Sergeant Ashley Thompson. Sergeant Thompson is assigned to the 132nd Military Police Company, and she submitted a Patriot Award request to our headquarters to formally recognize her supervisor. Chief Burris, the Chief of Police in North Charleston, Sergeant Thompson recognized the understanding and the flexibility of Chief Burgess when as it applies to military training and deployment. Sergeant Thompson knows that her position and her job is protected, and the North Charleston Police Department will be waiting for return from active duty. Chief Burgess' commitment to the patriotism and the welfare of our deployed soldiers is far and above the norm for those who employ citizen soldiers, sailors, airmen, and airwomen in the U.S. Military Reserve and National Guard forces. Sergeant Thompson went on to express her thanks to the team at the North Charleston Police Department to include, but not limited to, a number of folks, and I'd like to acknowledge them by name. If they're here, please raise your hand and so signify. Lieutenant Kathy Love, Lieutenant Andrew Glover, Lieutenant Johnson, Sergeant Deborah Reinhardt, Sergeant Tina Sutherland, Sergeant Jeremy Dalton, Sergeant Matt Hughes, Officer Odika Brown, Officer Maria Leahy, and Officer Sarah Midget for their unwavering support during the hectic absence from work due to a tour in Afghanistan. That's a team, y'all. That's a serious team. But that's not the whole team, because it also has to deal with the control and the administrative offices and everybody else who participates in North Charleston Police Department. We know it takes a shifting of duties and responsibilities in the absence of one of the working team members. The entire team is to be commended on picking up the extra work, since Sergeant Thompson was called to serve our country as a member of the Army National Guard. I'd like to read just a smidgen of information that she submitted to our higher headquarters about this. And that is, the entire team of North Charleston Police Department, which is led by Chief Burgess, continue to check on me 24/7. They embraced my return from Afghanistan with open arms, and made the transition from active duty seem seamless. The command staff and the supporting personnel are all part of the team that made my return both memorable and patriotic. Just to note a little additional information about the Guard and Reserve, Sergeant Thompson is one of 1.3 million members of the Guard and Reserve who continue to perform an increasing number of unique missions both in the United States and abroad. ESGR will continue to be the key resource for employers and citizen warriors. One of our focuses is to recognize those employers and supervisors who demonstrate support of citizen warriors and their families. While the citizen warriors are providing their experience and expertise to protect our country and our way of life, their employers and families must carry on without them, sometimes for extended periods. The employers deserve as much recognition as the military member. We know that we couldn't carry out the mission without feeling the jobs are secure and they're waiting for us on return for the reserve soldier. This was shown by the way that Chief Burgess and the North Charleston police team looked out for this member of our military forces, and it happened on more than one occasion. Another part of ESGR's mission is also to encourage employment of guardsmen and reservists who bring integrity, global perspective, and proven leadership to the civilian workforce. If you'd like to know a little bit more about ESGR, we'll be happy to fill you in on the details out in the hallway later, but I wanted to take this opportunity at the time. Councilman King, would you help us in making this presentation, please? And Chief Burgess and Thompson, if you would step up.
Chief, we appreciate all you've done for the military and all the support you've given us. That's an indication there of what you do every day. We appreciate that very much, and we won't resent this. Let me just read this to you. My Office of Secretary of Defense, Employee Support of the Guard and Reserves, recognizes Reggie Burgess, North Charleston Police Department, as patriotic employer for contribution to national security and protecting liberty and freedom by supporting the employees participating in America's National Guard and Reserve Force. So I want to present that to you on behalf of us.
And I'm not going to let you get away that quick. Also would like for you to wear that a conspicuous place on your uniform.
Yes,
Wear your
sir.
clothes.
Oh, I will.
And this is from all of us in uniform to your uniform. Thank you for your support and your patriotism.
You got you.
Can we take a picture with the team?
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
All right, Madam Clerk, let's continue with the printed agenda.
Yes, sir. First item is a request to approve the minutes from the June 14th, 2018 City Council meeting.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson? Aye. Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. King? Aye. Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 2 is the final reading of an ordinance rezoning the properties addressed as 1033 and 1037 East Montague Avenue, TMS 47008, lots 288 and 291, from B2 General Business to CRD Commercial Redevelopment.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson? Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion to approve carries unanimously. Item 3 is the final reading of an ordinance rezoning the properties addressed as 2792 and 2796 Dantzler Drive, TMS numbers shown, from R1 Single Family Residential to B1 Limited Business, and concurrently amending the comprehensive plan future land use map for the same parcels, changing them from single-family suburban to neighborhood commercial.
Move to deny.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson? Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion to deny the request carries unanimously. Item 4 is the final reading of an ordinance rezoning the property at 3255 Meeting Street Road, TMS number shown, from R1 Single Family Residential to R2 Multifamily Residential, and concurrently amend the comprehensive plan future land use map for the same parcel, changing it from single-family traditional to multifamily residential.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson? Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion to approve carries unanimously. Item 5 is the final reading of an ordinance rezoning the property at 3775 Spruill, TMS number shown, from B2 General Business to CRD Commercial Redevelopment, and a concurrent amendment of the comprehensive plan future land use map for the same parcel, changing it from institutional to major business retail.
That one was.
I am sorry,
that's
number
withdrawn.
5 was withdrawn. I read all that for nothing.
Thank you. All right. Item 6.
Item 6, then, is the final reading of an ordinance rezoning the property addressed as 4122 Meeting Street Road, Charleston County, TMS 47011, Lot 8, from B2 General Business to M1 Light Industrial.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson? Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion to approve carries unanimously. Item 7 is the final reading of an ordinance rezoning the property at 4501 Dorsey Avenue, TMS number shown, from B2 General Business to M1 Light Industrial, and concurrently amend the comprehensive plan future land use map for the same parcel, changing it from multifamily residential to light industrial.
Move for denial.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson? Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion to deny carries unanimously. Item 8 is the final reading of an ordinance rezoning the property at 4731 Mixon Avenue, Charleston County, TMS 47003, Lot 331, from B1 Limited Business to B2 General Business, and concurrently amending the comprehensive plan future land use map for the same parcel, changing it from neighborhood commercial to major business retail.
That's you, Mr. King.
Motion.
Move for adoption.
Got a second? Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson? Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion to approve carries unanimously. Item 9 is the final reading of an ordinance rezoning the property at 5101 Ashley Phosphate Road, Dorchester County, TMS number 181-0000, Lot 88, from B2 General Business to B3 Commercial, Recreation, and Highway-Oriented Uses, and concurrently amend the comprehensive plan's future land use map for the same parcel, changing it from major business retail to highway-oriented use.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson? Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion to approve carries unanimously. Number 10's been withdrawn.
Mayor Summy,
Yes, ma'am.
may we take items 11 through 15 title only?
Without objection, we will take items 11 through 15 by title only.
Item 11 is the first reading of an ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to administratively review and approve subordination requests of active home mortgages. Item 12 is the first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 11 of the Code of Ordinances for the City of North Charleston to add Section 11-34, parking in disobedience to posted restrictions prohibited. 13 is the first reading of an ordinance amending subsection 2-41A of the Municipal Ordinances of the Code of Municipal Ordinances of the City of North Charleston to update the rules regarding public appearance before council and committees of council. Item 14 is the first reading of an ordinance authorizing and directing the closing and abandonment of a portion of the Doyle Avenue right-of-way. And 15 is the first reading of an ordinance authorizing and directing the closing and abandonment of the Wisteria Avenue right-of-way.
Motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion, and I heard a weak second down there.
Second for discussion.
It was me.
Motion and a second.
Discussion,
Any
Mayor.
discussion?
Item 12, Mayor, the restriction on the posting of the parking.
Correct.
Could we give some notice on that? Besides, it's supposed to take effect tomorrow, but I think we ought to give some time on it.
We'll give notice to all the people on
Okay.
on that street.
Yeah, I'll make sure
Tell
we
their
do that.
employees are the primary folks we have to deal with.
Thank you.
No other discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson? Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Mayor Summy, can we do items 17 to 22 title only?
What about 16?
16 through 22.
16, thank you.
Gotcha, sir. Without objection.
Good to go? Item 16 is a resolution authorizing the execution of an amendment to the Fort Dorchester High School scoreboard agreement. Item 17 is a resolution authorizing the city to accept the 2018-2019 tourism advertising grant from the South Carolina Department of Parks, Recreation, and Tourism. 18 is a resolution authorizing the city to accept the 2018 South Carolina Department of Parks, Recreation, and Tourism's Parks and Recreation Development Fund grant to benefit the North Charleston Recreation Department at Westcott Park. 19 is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into agreements covering area lighting with SCE&G for the Coosaw Preserve subdivision phases 8, 9, and 10. 20 is a resolution accepting a portion of Cross Point Drive into the city system for maintenance. 21 is a resolution accepting Bircher Way, Ferris Alley, Collier Lane, Seeley Street, Matty Lane, Lindell Avenue, and a portion of Vincent Avenue Alley into the city system for maintenance. 22 is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a financial participation agreement with the South Carolina Department of Transportation for mast arm traffic signal installation at the intersection of Dorchester Road and Club Course Drive, Netherby Lane.
Hear a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson? Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
Mayor Summy, may
Yes,
we
ma'am.
take items 23 through 26?
24.
No,
23 through 26. Gotcha. Yes. Without objection.
23 is a request to approve change order number 3 to add 28 additional days to the contract for renovations to quarters L due to inclement weather without any additional cost. 24 is a request to award the bid for Northside Drive, Ingleside Boulevard, Weber Boulevard, and the Colony North entrance grounds maintenance to the low bidder, Bob's Landscape and Irrigation LLC in Somerville, South Carolina, in the amount of $95,495. 25 is a request to approve the bid award for Riverfront Park and officers' housing at the former Naval Base grounds maintenance to the lowest, most responsible bidder, EDD LLC, doing business as the Greenery of Charleston, in the amount of $96,761.01. And 26 is a request to approve the 6th annual Rockabilly Q Festival to be held on East Montague Avenue in the Old North Charleston Business District.
Move for approval. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Discussion, Mayor, on item 26, the Rockabilly Festival.
Yes, sir.
That I would encourage all council to come out. That's something to see. All
Heck
those
of a good
antique
time.
cars. That's a good. They take in all the village down there, so it's something well worth the time.
I also
Thank you.
encourage him. Thank you, Bob. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson? Aye. Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. King? Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And we have one request to address council tonight from Anthony G. Bryant.
Please come forward, give your name and address for the record, and give us remarks. You have 3 minutes.
Thanks for the courtesy. Anthony G. Bryant, 2133 Cortland Avenue, North Carolina 29403. I voted in primary, and Tim Scott sent me this letter here I received on the 21st. I came on the 21st for a number of reasons, based on the order I received from Mary Gordon Baker, Gergel, and Seymour, premises that your consultant, William Nettles, letter I received in 2011, the IRS, U.S. Postal Service, and the U.S. Marshal's Office. In 2000, on the 18th, on the 23rd, I contacted Tim Scott's office and concerned with the mismanagement of the NADDIS system, our FS system, in dealing with poverty. As a question, based on May 2010 letter, EPA copied SCDHEC, State Ports Authority, which someone's really closer to State Ports Authority than this board, the FBI and Homeland Security, and Homeland Security's non-compliance, in my opinion, with passive zonings being on the BZA of Charleston County for many years. And in terms of funding from 2001 to 2018, schools and other passive uses as in the directive with the SLED. That was the position I took publicly on that issue as a BZA member on land use. And so they should fund that. I received an email, Google, for Lost Wallet in Isle of Palm, Sullivan's Island. I don't use Backpage.com, Craigslist, I never practiced real estate in close since 2010, so I don't use MLS or anything like that. So in terms of these legal descriptions and connotations, I'm uncomfortable with those legal descriptions. And so that's why we filed a public interest lawsuit and pro se, because the people who are qualified to HUD and Emergency Solutions grants can't afford to retain an attorney to go before the federal court. And that's the protest we're having. We did try to get money raised for people so they can file lawsuits in federal courts regarding grantors and grantees, mismanagement, waste, and fraud, and the State Port Authority and their alliances that they have on this body, and the Post and Courier, with an editorial in August 2009 regarding Homeland Security and their position regarding Homeland Security and those issues as well. So that's my position to the body. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anything else to come before the body? Hearing none, meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.